So here we are, attempt number 3 at making my own YouTube channel. I say attempt number 3 only because the first 2 times I started, I kind of stopped. Basically not long after I started. The first channel, which I called Tech Motivation, which I don't know where I came up with that name, it wasn't good at all. The second channel, which I had called Chasm, a lot of people didn't understand what the name meant. I don't really think I understood what the name meant. But, you know, I started to gain a little progress on that channel, but it just wasn't me. I haven't felt like anything that I've done so far is actually what I want to do, right? Watch a lot of YouTube videos, I watch a lot of other creators, and I see what they're doing and they enjoy what they're doing. I was making things more for what I thought people wanted rather than what I wanted to do. So I decided to start this new channel. Joe probably knows I put it on a separate YouTube account and everything. I really wanted to start fresh. And I wanted to be more of myself instead of being some guy talking to a camera doing what he thinks everybody on YouTube wants to hear. This is a channel I feel like I can be me, and I'm going to be me. If you want to call this an intro to the channel, that's what this is going to be by the time I'm done with it here. I'm working on getting to a point where I'm making videos that I feel comfortable making, right? Things that I want to do, things that I think some people may get value from, right? I know the first 2 channels, I kind of pushed them. They weren't what I wanted them to be. I think it was more along the lines of trying to appease or follow along with what other YouTubers were doing and what other creators were doing. And it's not a place that I want to be. I want to just make what I want to make. And if I gain an audience, I gain an audience. As I've learned across this community of the people that I've grown close with in the tech community, the people that I, you know, really enjoy watching their videos. I enjoy spending time with them, talking about things and interacting with them when it comes to what they're doing and what they're into and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, battling back and forth here and there with, you know, some differing opinions. So anyway, this is an intro to what my channel is going to be, right? You're going to hear what I actually think about things rather than me trying to sugarcoat things for a certain crowd on YouTube and all that other kind of stuff. I'm not interested in placating anybody or doing anything like that. Not because I'm being cocky or anything like that. It's more along the lines of when I feel the best way to create something for myself is to create it the way I really think about it, right? I don't want to give anybody any BS about, you know, oh, well, this is good, even though it's not good. You know, I've always been pretty honest in my opinions, even in my previous channel and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe in, none of these brands really are going to care at the end of the day who is loyal to them, if you know what I'm saying. None of them are paying me. None of them are really paying you. I mean, some of the bigger creators, I'm sure they get a lot of free stuff and all that kind of stuff, but it should not change your opinion on how that piece of technology works. I don't believe in that. I've never believed in that. I feel like we should all just give our honest opinions, right? Because even if only 10 people watch me, okay, and that's pretty much all it is. But even if only 10 people watch me, I don't want to give those 10 people the wrong advice because I felt like I had to make a brand feel better about their product. It doesn't make any sense to me. What makes sense to me is telling you exactly how it works for me, right? Now, your experience may vary, but the core components of any piece of technology have to work, and they have to work properly. They have to work as advertised. If they don't, I feel like even if, like I said before, you have a small audience, it should be your mission to tell people the good, the bad, the ugly, right? Tell them everything about the device. I mean, there's plenty of devices out there. I go through, I mean, you guys know how many devices I go through, anybody who follows me on Twitter or anything, and I'm still looking for the perfect device. There hasn't been one yet for me. There has not been a perfect device. There has not been a perfect anything in tech, really. Now, partly that's me because I like to try out new things and all that kind of stuff. But the other part of it is there's always 1 or 2 little sticking points that draw me away from the product, right? They take me away from it because it's not working as advertised. Even some of the most perfect phones. I love my Z Fold 3, right? That's a great phone. but there are shortcomings. There are certain things I do not like about the phone. Same thing with the Surface Duo 2 that I've just been trying out, and it's been fighting back and forth for my pocket with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. There are pluses and minuses to both of those phones, and I will be making a video on this. But to be honest with you, neither of them is everything that I need. Some combination of the two might be, but so far, neither one of them is everything I need. So I'm going to be stuck with picking the better of the two for my needs, right? So that's something I'm going to tell you about. I'm not going to just tell you, well, because I'm using the Galaxy Z Fold 3 or I'm using the Surface Duo 2, that this is a perfect device and Microsoft hit it out of the park or Samsung hit it out of the park. There are problems with almost every device out there. There's very few devices out there that don't have their own issues, their own problems, their own little idiosyncrasies that make you not want to use the device. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be getting into. I'm going to tell you the truth about everything that I review, anything that I talk about, anything that I might just get a hold of and want to play with. It's not something I might use long-term, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I try to use these devices as my dailies. I carry 2 daily devices always. I always carry an iPhone. That's my personal phone for family. Most of my family has iPhones. It's just easier. And then I carry an Android usually for work, right? So then I have the opportunity to try different things. And in a business environment, because my job requires a lot of businessy tasks, I'm better with a larger screen, right? So that's why I'm going between the Surface Duo 2 now and the Galaxy Z Fold 3. And we're trying to figure out which one of those would be the right fit for me on a regular basis, right? Because listen, let's be honest, switching phones constantly is not something that's a lot of fun when you need it for work, right? But I do it anyway because it's the one place I can switch phones regularly. As far as the home, the personal phone, it's an iPhone. So what am I really switching to? A mini or a Max? I mean, there's really not much of a difference. iPhones are all basically the same. So I kind of use my Android phone to experiment. And unfortunately, it's also my business phone. So I'm trying to use them in the midst of doing my daily work. And I think that's the best way, honestly, to really tell you how something works. I mean, a lot of my perspectives are going to be from a business user. I play games, obviously, but that's not my main function on my phone. I play games on my PC. I play games on my Xbox or my PlayStation. I'm not a huge mobile gamer. I do play Call of Duty mobile, but there's not a million things that I play on a phone. I do consume a lot of YouTube and entertainment type stuff on a phone. So it's got to be good for that. And the bigger screens are great for that for me. There still has yet to be one phone that has told me, you know what? I don't want to use any other phones. And that's because not one phone is perfect. Everybody out there fighting over whether your Apple phone is better or your Samsung phone is better or this phone's better. They all have an issue. They all have one or two issues. It's whether or not they work for you that matters. It has nothing to do with whether or not, it's got a couple things that are not great, right? Because those things might not matter to some people. Some people won't care if they can't read a spreadsheet on their phone, right? Some people won't care if it takes good pictures or not because they don't take pictures with their phones. Maybe they're a photographer and they're always got a DSLR on them. I don't know, but everybody's use case is different. And I think that's what gets lost along the way. We talk about features. We can sit here and talk about specs forever. Almost every phone nowadays has pretty good specs as far as flagships go. Even a lot of the mid-ranges now have better specs than some of the flagships from a couple years ago. I mean, the phone technology is moving so quickly that if you spend the right amount of money, you're not really going to put a bad phone in your pocket. Let's be honest. There's not too many phones out there that are flat out horrible. So what I feel like we need to do, if we're going to be the kind of people that people go to for opinions on tech or opinions on phones or opinions on laptops or whatever the technology may be, I feel like that person, knowing that they're putting this out on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, needs to be as honest as possible, right? I don't want to lie to you, okay? There's things I don't like about iPhone, okay? It's got glitches sometimes, there's things I don't like about Samsung. There's certain proprietary things I don't like about Samsung. There's things I don't like about pixels. There's things I don't like about many phones. There's also a lot of things I do like. So what the decision really boils down to in any tech purchase for anybody out there, the decision comes down to what works for you. It doesn't come down to what works for me. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, and I'm going to tell you the good stuff, and I'm going to tell you the bad stuff, right? But I'm not going to tell you how it will fit into your life. That's a decision you have to make. If a bad camera and a really great operating system that can play games like crazy is really what you're looking for, you're going to know from my video that that phone's going to be fine for you, because I'm going to tell you that that phone has a bad camera, but it's awesome at video games, right? It's awesome at gaming. There's plenty of gaming phones out there where the camera's meh. And the operating system and everything else about it, I mean, they have triggers. It's got everything a gamer would need. Does the gamer really care if they can't take cinematic photos or doesn't have Hollywood in your pocket? I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people who, not everybody cares about cinema quality cameras. Okay, and it's become a big sticking point on phones nowadays, cameras, all that kind of stuff. But it's something that is dependent on the person and their use case, like I said. So that's just one example of things that your use case might be different than my use case. There's no reason whatsoever to automatically assume that everybody's going to use a phone the same way that you do, because they're not. Not everybody. I mean, I look at some of my friends' phones and stuff like that. They're set up, no way I would set up a phone, right? All their main apps and all that stuff are completely different than the apps I have on the screen. So when you look at it from that perspective, you realize that not everybody uses their phone for the same thing. A lot of people, mostly it's social media and Instagram and taking pictures and stuff. So for them, they're going to need a phone with an excellent camera and great features for social media. They're not looking for a phone that can run, that can expand out and be able to look at Excel spreadsheets. They're not using their phone for that. So their use case is different than mine. I'm not huge on Instagram or taking pictures or any of that kind of stuff. I never really was. I take a lot of pictures of family and my dogs and things like that. But as far as going out and taking pictures, I do it sometimes if I go on a nature hike or something like that. But it's not the number one use case for my phone. So basically any flagship has solid enough cameras for me. Again, like I said, your mileage may vary. It depends on your use case, but got off on a little bit of a tangent here as usual. But the bottom line is I plan on going forward with this channel, telling you how I actually feel about certain things. And no, I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm not going to tell you that something's better than it is because I happen to enjoy that manufacturer's products. I mean, there's a lot of products out there from manufacturers that I didn't like, and they're from manufacturers that I happen to buy a lot of products from, right? I have a lot of Samsung products. I have a lot of Apple products. I have a decent amount of Microsoft products as well. It doesn't mean that any of them are perfect or there's nothing wrong with them. Every piece of technology comes with its own set of issues, and that's what it comes down to. Just wanted to give you guys a little update on what's going on with the channel. I'm going to start pushing out videos soon. I just wanted you to get a little background on where these videos are coming from, right? I want you to understand where my thinking is before you start watching my videos and say, hey, I wonder if he's honest. I wonder if he's telling the truth about this stuff. I'm not going to lie to you about stuff. There's no point. I don't get any money for it. And I wouldn't do it even if I did get money for it, to be honest with you. I'm not interested in misleading people into thinking something is better than it is, right? So I'm the kind of guy that's going to tell you have spinach in your teeth, period. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because I don't believe in it. I don't believe that if you're going to tell somebody about a product, even in my personal life, if I'm going to tell somebody about something, my mom asked me for advice or one of my friends asked me for advice, I'm not going to lie to them, right? I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to do it to you either. I'm going to work on a schedule of getting one video out per week. It's about all I can afford to do, especially with my work schedule and things like that. But I kind of missed creating, and I want to come back and I want to do it the right way this time. I want to do it, on a schedule. I want to get everything together the way it should be. I want to put myself on a schedule because that's the hardest part of all of this, right? Is sitting down in front of the camera and getting going. It's always the hardest part for me. especially since, oh, now's not the right time, or I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it the next day. That kind of thinking is what gets me behind and has led to the basic death of my other two identities on YouTube. So I'm going to start fresh here, and hopefully some of you guys will follow along with me. And listen, have a great day, and I look forward to giving you guys some opinions on some of that new technology out there, and telling you how I feel about things. And hopefully I can help you make a decision going forward on what you may want to buy for yourself. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later.